Guys, Tom Cold here to bring you my first place locals mermail deck profile. Let's start with monsters. 1 Gundy, she's at 1, so that's obvious. Triple Lindy, she's combo starter. Triple mermail abyss pike, you should almost always be playing 3 pikes. He's the searcher and he's a combo starter. Then 2 mermail abyss turge, recycles Atlanteans, recycles Gundy. Triple mermail abyss Tias. Obviously, he's a searcher, and he's a combo starter. 2 Megalos. I like 2 Megalo just because in case then if they do something to 1, I still have another 24-beat stick I can pull out of the deck. That's it for the mermails. For the Atlanteans, I play triple heavy infantry. I love popping their monsters, so triple heavy infantry is good. Then triple Atlantean marksman, back row hate, and the 1 dragoons, because you're only allowed 1. For the tech choices, 2 Gen X Undines, which obviously means 2 Gen X controllers. He's really nice because you can send Atlanteans to the grave to either search off like Dragoons, or you can just send a Marksman or Heavy Infantry and pop. Then the other tech choices, 1 Dragon Ice. He's amazing just because we're in a special summoning format. And if they dare special summon and you have a heavy infantry, they just wasted their monsters. Title. And then Gores. Just for OTK prevention. That's all he's really in there for. And he is level 7, so it's nice. Spells. Dark Hole. It's Dark Hole. I really enjoy being able to use it against my opponent. Gold Sark, because you can banish Title and then search the Dragon Ice to your hand. Or you can pretty much get out wherever you want. Foolish Burial helps put Title or Dragon Ice in the grave without having to do like Lava Chain or something like that. Allure of Darkness, we have 2 controllers, might as well use it. 2 Salvage, recycles Atlanteans, recycles Lindy, recycles Gundy, and 2 MST for more back row hate. The traps, the pretty much new trinity of trap cards. Torrential, Compulse, and Bombless helps stop their monsters. And the last 3 traps mainboarded are 3 spheres. It's mermails. You almost always play 3 spheres. On to the extra deck. The rank 3s are Acid Golem and number 47 Nightmare Shark. You'll see why I play Acid Golem here in a little bit. Nightmare Shark's there just in case they have like a huge wall set up and they're low on life points. You can just jump and win for game. Rank 4s we have Diamond Direwolf, Abyss Dweller. I play 2 101s. I don't have an Exionite, and I'm not overly fond of playing Exionite because I can also minus myself if I'm not careful. Diamond Dire's here in case of like Macrocosmos, something like that. Abyss Dweller for mirror matches and 101s because he's 101. He's there to take your opponent's monsters. Rank 7s are Big Eye, Dragossack, and 1 Mermail Biscaus. I find I'm going into these 3 a lot less than I used to, but they're still really good monsters, especially Abyscaus for his walking skill drain effect. That's it for the XZs. The Synchros, the level 7s are Black Rose and Gungar. They're harder to go into, but I still make them quite often because there's only the 2 tuners in the deck. Then we have the 2 rank 8s of Stardust and Beazle. You can actually play Beazle because of Dragon Ice and the controller, and he actually wins games because he's hard to get rid of at times. And then 2 Leos, because we have a bunch of level 7s and controllers. So it's real easy to go into Leo, and since he can't be targeted except in your main phase 2, they can't Fiendish Chain you, they can't DP you. Well, that works really nice for you. The sideboard, triple skill drain. That's why Acid Golem's actually in the deck, is because, oh, skill drain. Now I've got 3 Grand Breach Stick. Double Black Horn of Heaven, because we're still in an XZ format, and this helps get rid of some other problematic ones like Exionite and 101s. Lion Prison Mirror for Boojins. Needle Stealing, because if you get a Beazle out and you get 4 monsters, you can nuke your field easily, and if it's a Lindy, you're going to go plus for it. DNA Surgery for Fire Fist and Boojins. Spellbooks somewhat, but not that they're being played that much. Double Overworked for Fire Fists. And then Dust Tornado, Twister, and MST for extra back row hate in case you're fighting something really heavy on spells and traps. So the matches I had for locals, round 1 was against Constellars. I won it in 3. It was more just because I lost game 1 due to Pleiades and back row.
Hold on, let's stop. No, keep going.
I lost to Pleiades in back row, but then game 2, Beazle came out, and he misplayed, and he actually safe zoned my Beazle thinking he couldn't attack directly. But since I was still technically the opponent of safe zone, Beazle was able to attack, and he could no longer target my Beazle. So Beazle just got to sit there and swing, and I had the side deck cards of Skill Drain and Lightmare just waiting. Not that I never flipped them. I didn't have to. Round 2 was against Light Swarms. I won in straight 2. It was bad just because he soul charged out like 4 monsters, so he paid $4 grand, and I had been sitting on Dark Hole since first turn, so he paid $4 grand just to get Dark Hole nuked, and I had a Lindy set, so that was just funny to me because I gotta take all his monsters out, and I still got a Lindy to play off of. Round 3 was against Evil Storms. I actually won in 2. It was more because of Undyne sending heavy infantry to the grave multiple times, popping the Ophion. So, and then it was just a matter of Undyne beat him down game 1. Game 2, he started terribly, and I had 2 Black Horn of Heavens just waiting. So Ophion wasn't a problem for me that game. Round 4 was against Firefist. This was the only game I lost, which is against my brother, so I'm a little salty about it, but there's nothing I can do about it. Yes, my brother's recording this. So I lost in 2. I probably cited too much because I cited 10 cards total. I think I cited both Overworks, the double DNA surgery, the let's see what it was, 2 Overworks, 2 DNAs, Needle Sealing, 2 Black Horns, and triple Skill Drain. Yeah, I cited too much. So I hurt my own deck more than I hurt his. So that was my fault, but it really didn't matter. Then we went to top 8 after that. First, top 8 I fought Scraps. It took me 3. Scraps now have Scrap Factory, so game 1, I barely snaked out the win. It's like I barely managed to get, I don't even remember really how I won, but I barely won game 1. Then game 2 I had Skill Drains and Black Horns just waiting, and Skill Drain won me game 2. Then game 3, Skill Drain again was sitting there, and he couldn't get his plays off with Skill Drain out on the field, so it ended up costing him. Then we went to top 4, and I fought the exact same Evil Storm again. This time it took me in 3, but once again it was Undyne doing what Undyne does best and sending the heavy infantries to pop the Ophion. Game 2 I lost due to he opened Vanities and Macros Cosmos, and it was just like, well, I am screwed. Because I happened to have Gold Sark, so I Gold Sarked an MST, and I was like, okay, I finally got rid of Vanities. Macro? Shit. So it was just scoop from there. Went game 3 where I had double Blackhorn again. It didn't really matter. I don't think he made 2 Ophions all game, but I had the Blackhorns, the Skill Drains just waiting. We don't do top 2, unfortunately. If we did, it would have been against Boojins, but we decided it just ends at top 4 for us for some reason. I'm not overly positive why, but I really enjoyed this version, especially because Beazle is actually hard to deal with, especially if they're not expecting you to have a Beazle. Everybody at my locals now expects the Beazle just because this is like 2 weeks in a row I've actually done fairly well. I believe this took second last week and first this week. It's like the only thing I lost to last week was mermails, but it's kind of, I'm overly not sure how I want to side against mermails with this deck yet. Yeah, so tell me what you guys think about the deck. I really enjoy it. Tell me, the deck is 42 cards. Tell me if you think I should cut it to 40. I don't think I need to, especially with how well it's been functioning. So this is Stop and Cold signing out.